When the autumn winds begin to carry a chill, the forest slowly transforms from lush green to shades of yellow and orange, and those living along the forest edge enter a challenging period. This is the time when natural food sources in the forest begin to run scarce. Wild fruits, nuts, and insects gradually diminish, forcing large animals to travel farther in search of food. For people living near the forest, these signs are nothing new. They are accustomed to seeing overturned trash bins, twisted wooden fences, or large bear tracks imprinted on damp ground. These traces appear suddenly, sometimes a deep footprint, other times freshly dug soil, an ordinary sight that nonetheless conceals potential danger. However, it is only when a bear returns repeatedly that the situation truly becomes serious. Bears have excellent memory, and once they discover an easy food source, they will return to it. An unsecured trash bin, an unfenced fruit garden, or a poorly protected feed storage area can all become targets for bears. If these return visits turn into a habit, the area may become part of the bear's regular foraging route. Once a bear has chosen the area as a frequent stop, wildlife management teams begin receiving calls to intervene. After several days of monitoring, experts can determine the bear's movement patterns. Typically, bears travel from the forest into human-inhabited areas along familiar paths. Experts then assess the situation and deploy effective trapping methods. One common method is the use of large steel cage traps. These traps feature automatic drop doors and sturdy steel frames, with bait placed inside to attract bears, such as ripe fruit, honey, or fermented grains. The strong scent of these baits can travel long distances, drawing bears from afar. However, for a trap to be effective, choosing the right placement is crucial. If the trap is not positioned correctly, the bear may detect something unusual and avoid it. Therefore, experts often place traps along routes that bears have frequently used, ensuring the trap remains stable when the animal enters. In some situations, steel foothold traps are also used to temporarily control the animal. These traps use a metal loop with moderate pressure, strong enough to hold the bear without causing serious injury. These traps are usually buried beneath the ground and covered with dry leaves, allowing them to blend seamlessly into the surrounding environment. When the bear steps on the correct spot, the trap's spring mechanism is triggered and holds the animal in place. Experts then monitor the situation through cameras to confirm activation. Depending on the situation, wildlife teams may use safe sedation methods before proceeding with further handling. Once the bear is under control, experts will check its health and attach tracking devices if necessary. These devices help collect data on the bear's behavior, allowing predictions about whether it will return to the area in the future. For communities living along the forest edge, these trapping systems and wildlife management processes not only protect property, but also maintain the balance between humans and nature. These methods safeguard crops, assets, and even human lives, while still ensuring the safety and respect for wildlife. And each time autumn returns, as the air turns crisp and the leaves change, bear tracks appear once again. But with careful preparation and years of accumulated experience, the people here have learned how to face such situations, calmly, scientifically, and always in harmony with nature. This is no longer a series of isolated incidents happening at night. Tilted trash bins and bent fences are only surface signs of a movement pattern repeating in a structured way. Bears are not appearing randomly. They are entering the area from multiple directions, as if they have memorized every trail and gap between the forest and the residential zone. Each night, infrared cameras record the same hour and the same movement trajectory. The greatest concern is not a single encounter, but the fact that the safety distance is being reduced step by step. A rushed reaction at this moment will not solve the problem. On the contrary, it may make the target individual more cautious, forcing it to change routes and approach residential areas from angles that are harder to control. Therefore, instead of chasing or applying direct pressure, we choose a different strategy. The area is divided into control layers. Bear movement paths are clearly identified. And specialized traps are assigned to handle the highest risk part, instead of people. The operation does not begin with noise. It begins with calculated silence. Along the forest edge, where trails weave through bushes and slopes, large cage traps are placed at key intersections. They are discreet and do not disturb the surrounding environment. Bait is positioned deep inside, requiring the animal to step fully into the control zone before the mechanism is triggered. These traps function like invisible checkpoints. When an individual approaches and activates the drop door, a signal is sent to the monitoring center. There is no loud noise, no widespread panic. But that signal confirms one crucial fact: the behavior was accurately predicted. The appearance is no longer a surprise. It follows a prepared scenario. In low areas near water sources or temporary waste sites, where bears tend to leave the main route to search for quick food, secondary traps are arranged to slow and hold the individual in place. Our task is not to resolve everything in a single night, but to reduce immediate pressure and prevent deeper intrusion into human living spaces. Closest to residential zones, everything is arranged remotely and under strict control. A smart cage trap is positioned at the center, discreet but strategically critical. This is the final control layer before bear movement reaches the backyards of families. Cameras and motion sensors continuously monitor even the smallest signal. It pauses for a few seconds, sniffs the air, then continues along its familiar path. No panic, no sudden change of direction. That calm behavior is the signal that the control system is operating with precise accuracy. The outer layer trap is triggered first, slowing the advance. The individual is forced to shift direction, moving closer to the prepared zone. Without this early control layer, the distance from the forest edge to residential fences could be reduced within minutes. At this stage, the trap is no longer merely a technical device. It becomes the final protective barrier for the community. The rapid response team is deployed immediately after confirmation is received. Sedation and transport procedures follow veterinary standards and are carried out as quickly as possible. The area is cleaned, bait scent is removed, and all equipment is dismantled right after completion. In bear management, sustainable solutions do not come from reacting after each appearance. They come from predicting the right route, controlling the right contact point, and intervening at the right moment. When technology is used with planning, it does not only protect property or crops. It protects the essential safety distance between humans and nature. If you are interested in safe and responsible wildlife management methods, follow the channel to continue accompanying us in upcoming stories.
Hey, bear. Hey.
When the forests begin to turn golden at the end of the season, the small farms located near the forest edge also enter the most sensitive period of the year. This is when natural food sources gradually become scarce, forcing many large animals to expand their roaming range in search of energy before colder weather arrives. People who have lived near the forest for many years are familiar with the early signs that signal this change. A trash bin tipped over, a section of wooden fence slightly bent, and sometimes large footprints pressed deeply into the damp soil after a quiet night. At first, these traces appear only occasionally and rarely cause concern. However, over time, when a bear begins returning to the same area repeatedly, the situation gradually changes. Livestock enclosures may be pushed out of position. Containers of stored feed can be torn open. Even fruit trees near the house may be broken as the animal reaches for fruit. What worries residents in the area is not only the material damage, but also the possibility that the animal may gradually become accustomed to environments where people live. Bears are highly intelligent animals and possess remarkable memory. Once they discover a food source that is easy to access, they often return along the same route. Without timely management measures, a single individual may come back many times throughout the season.
Once an animal's caught,
one of the most commonly used measures is the placement of large steel traps designed specifically for animals with large bodies. These traps are very different from the smaller ones typically used for small animals. They are constructed with a strong steel frame reinforced by thick metal bars, along with a heavy drop door designed to shut quickly when the trigger mechanism is touched.
Disengage the lock. At the same time, pull back on this cable. I can release that way. That's the way it looks.
Before a trap is placed, the most important step is always surveying the surrounding area. Farm managers usually search for clear signs such as large tracks on the ground, claw marks on tree trunks, or logs that have been flipped over when bears search for insects. In addition, trails running through the forest are also important clues, as many bears tend to move along familiar routes that have formed over many years. Once the animal's travel route has been identified, the trap will be placed at a location where the bear is most likely to pass naturally. Instead of placing it too close to homes or barns, the trap is usually positioned slightly farther away, near the forest edge or along a trail. The purpose of this arrangement is to maintain a safe distance between residential areas and the control zone, while also reducing the chance of frightening the animal. Inside the trap, a portion of bait with a strong scent is usually placed to attract the bear's attention. The smell of food can travel far through the air, especially at night when temperatures drop and the wind becomes lighter. However, the trap is not activated immediately.
so this will stay closed up here, and the bear will come in from here.
During this period, infrared cameras are often installed near the trap area to monitor nighttime activity. The recorded footage helps identify exactly which individual is returning and how frequently it appears. When the camera shows that the bear has begun stepping inside the trap to reach the bait, that is when the system is fully activated. The moment the trapdoor closes usually happens extremely quickly. When the animal touches the trigger mechanism, the heavy steel door immediately drops and locks behind it. The entire process lasts only a few seconds.
Смотрите, делаю. Вот охренеть.
Чтоб не сломал ничего, блин, ваша железка.
Красавчик!
After the trap is triggered, the next step is to respond quickly and follow proper procedures. The area manager will approach from a safe distance and ensure that the surrounding area is under control. The following steps may include checking the animal's condition and carrying out management measures according to conservation regulations and community safety guidelines. Overall, from reading tracks on the ground and observing activity through nighttime cameras to the moment the trap mechanism is activated, the entire process is directed toward a shared goal: protecting farms, ensuring community safety, and maintaining the balance between humans and nature.
Initial visits usually happen quietly. The bear simply walks along the fence, sniffing around the area and testing a few objects that seem easy to open. If it manages to find food without encountering resistance, another return visit is almost certain. Over time, this behavior gradually turns into a habit. The path from the forest to the farm is repeated so many times that it almost becomes a familiar feeding route. What is concerning is that bears do not need to destroy everything immediately. They can patiently observe and test things little by little. A slightly loose storage door, a trash bin that is not properly secured, or the smell of food drifting from the livestock area can all become an invisible invitation to them. When these weaknesses exist, the bear will return more frequently and move closer and closer to areas where people live. At some point, the distance between the two sides may shrink to only a few meters. A farmer steps outside at night, the light suddenly turns on, and the bear is already standing right there. In situations like this, even a small wrong movement can make the animal feel threatened. And when a bear attacks to defend itself, its enormous strength can make the encounter extremely dangerous. That is when management measures must be implemented seriously. Bear traps are not used as a reckless reaction, but as part of a carefully studied control system. Their purpose is to stop the repeating pattern of visits before the situation becomes more dangerous. Before setting traps, managers usually spend time observing very carefully. They track footprints on the ground, claw marks on tree trunks, and footage from infrared cameras at night. This information helps identify the bear's usual movement routes. Only after understanding how the animal moves and when it appears do they decide where the trap should be placed. One of the most commonly used devices is the large steel cage trap. Its structure is designed wide enough for the bear to walk inside naturally. The thick metal frame ensures stability when the animal moves within the trap. Bait is usually placed at the far end of the cage, forcing the bear to step completely inside before the door mechanism is triggered. In some regions, specialized foothold devices are also used under strict wildlife management regulations. These tools are designed to hold the animal in place without causing serious harm. Once the trap is triggered, management teams quickly approach to handle the situation according to prepared procedures. However, trapping is only one part of the overall strategy. Farms often need to change how the surrounding environment is managed. Trash containers are secured with metal lids, food storage areas are reinforced, and electric fences are installed in some places to prevent wildlife from entering. When easy food sources disappear, farms become far less attractive to bears. In many cases, simply removing these attractants is enough to encourage wildlife to return to their natural habitats. But if a bear has already formed the habit of returning repeatedly, intervention through trapping may become necessary to restore balance. Life on the edges of the forest has always been closely tied to the presence of wildlife. Farmers do not seek to confront nature, but they must learn how to protect what they have built. The balance between humans and wildlife is sometimes maintained only through timely decisions and careful management. If you want to explore more real stories from farms surrounded by vast natural landscapes, Be sure to follow the channel so you don't miss upcoming videos about wildlife management and sustainable rural life.
For many years, bears were seen as symbols of deep forests, places humans only pass through. But as the boundary between settlements and nature narrows, bears now appear more often. They move along forest edges, cross fields, and search trash bins behind storage sheds. As the damage repeated, wildlife managers realized this had become a familiar route between the forest and nearby homes. Infrared cameras placed along the forest edge quickly confirmed it. Each night, they recorded the same time window and the same path. The bear seemed to memorize the trails and narrow gaps between the forest and nearby houses. The concern was not a single encounter, but the shrinking safety distance as they returned and gradually moved closer to people. In situations like this, rushed reactions rarely work. Chasing a bear can make it more cautious and push it toward routes that are harder to control. Because of that, management teams focus on guiding behavior instead of direct confrontation. The area is divided into several control layers using data from tracks, cameras, and activity signs to identify the paths bears most often use. The operation does not begin with noise or aggressive chasing, but with calculated silence along the forest edge, where narrow trails cross through brush and slopes. At key intersections, large cage traps are placed discreetly, blending into the natural landscape. Bait is set deep inside, forcing the animal to step fully into the control zone before the trigger activates. These traps function like invisible checkpoints. When a bear approaches and triggers the drop door mechanism, a signal is immediately sent to the monitoring center. There is no loud noise or panic, but the signal confirms the animal's behavior was predicted correctly. Its arrival is no longer a surprise, but part of a prepared plan. This allows the management team to stay in control rather than reacting afterward. The high and lower areas, near water sources or waste points, where bears often leave the main path to search for food. Secondary traps are placed to slow movement. These locations act as intermediate control layers, keeping the animal within the monitored zone and preventing it from moving deeper into residential areas. The goal is not to solve everything in one night, but to reduce immediate pressure. Closest to the residential boundary is the final control layer. Here, equipment is deployed remotely and monitored closely with cameras and motion sensors. A smart cage trap sits at a central but discreet location. When the bear approaches, it often pauses briefly, smelling the air before continuing along its usual route. That calm behavior shows the system is guiding it toward the prepared control area. In many cases, the outer trap layer activates first, slowing the animal and forcing it to adjust direction. This gradually guides it into the main control zone. Without that initial layer, the distance from forest edge to neighborhood fence could shrink in minutes. The multi-layer system reduces risk and gives response teams time to prepare the next step. Once a trap is triggered, the handling phase becomes critical. The surrounding area is temporarily secured, and a rapid response team approaches carefully to avoid agitating the animal. Sedation and transport follow veterinary standards to ensure safety for both people and wildlife. In many cases, the bear is also fitted with a tracking tag before relocation. That it is important to understand that traps are only one part of a broader wildlife management strategy. When used correctly, they are not symbols of confrontation, but tools that help maintain balance. If you found this useful, follow the channel to explore more stories about safe and sustainable wildlife management.
For many years, bears were considered animals that lived separately, avoiding humans. But as habitats overlap, unexpected encounters have begun to appear. No longer just brief sightings. There have been situations where bears directly approached people in forests, on trails, even at the edges of residential areas. And in field management, the greatest danger does not lie in the moment the trap is activated. It lies in how the entire area is handled afterward. Bears do not act randomly. They respond to chains of stimuli: scent, movement, sound, spatial memory. If an intervention point is handled without control, that area can become a marker in their behavioral map. An individual that once approached humans without clear resistance may return again. And when bold behavior is not interrupted, the level of risk increases over time. In modern control systems, the goal is not to react after a single incident. The goal is to prevent dangerous behavior from repeating. At forest edges or near hiking routes, infrared cameras and motion sensors are installed to accurately identify individuals showing signs of approaching humans. Correct identification is critical. Not every bear displays dangerous behavior, but an individual that has previously attacked or approached too closely must be handled under a separate protocol. Once the area is confirmed, the control team deploys specialized cage traps or foothold traps with controlled clamping force. The foothold trap is specifically designed to secure a bear's front limb without causing serious harm. Its curved structure, pressure-limiting springs, and safety locking system ensure the animal cannot withdraw its paw. This is not equipment used carelessly. It is placed only at confirmed high-risk locations and always accompanied by remote monitoring. When the target individual steps into the exact position, the automatic mechanism activates, forcing it to stop moving. As soon as the signal is transmitted to the monitoring center, the rapid response team immediately moves to the site. Captured individuals are sedated under standard veterinary procedures and then transported away from the area as quickly as possible. No prolonged noise. No lingering scent or chaotic traces. The entire site is cleaned and restored to a neutral state immediately afterward. If handled carelessly, a trap site can become a memory point in a bear's perception. But if handled correctly, it disappears from their behavioral map. No signal, no confirmation of risk or reward, just an information void. Near residential areas, every action must comply with even stricter regulations. No public gathering. No images spreading panic. No individual left restrained on site for extended periods. The objective is not only to control the immediate situation, but to ensure the location is not remembered as a confrontation point. All captured individuals are transported to designated facilities according to wildlife management regulations. Depending on behavioral assessment and risk level, they may be redirected to appropriate habitats or handled under specialized professional plans. Most importantly, they do not return to their previous location to reinforce human approach behavior. And bear management. Success is not measured by the number of traps deployed. It is measured by whether aggressive behavior ceases, whether trails become safe again, whether residents can walk and work outdoors without constant alertness. Traps are only tools. Long-term stability comes from how the entire system is operated, from identification and monitoring to activation, transport, and environmental restoration. When the chain of dangerous behavior is broken, the chain of risk to people ends quietly as well. And the greatest success is when no further attacks occur, when the forest returns to being its natural space, and humans are no longer within reach of uncontrolled behavior.
When autumn begins to spread a pale yellow color across the treetops at the edge of the forest, many small farms also enter the most sensitive period of the year. This is the time when natural food sources in the forest gradually begin to decline. Wild fruits, insects, and other nutrients become harder to find. As a result, large animals often start moving over wider areas in search of food before the cold season arrives. For many years, people living near the forest have become familiar with the first signs of this change. A trash bin turned over. A wooden fence slightly bent. Sometimes large footprints pressed deep into the damp soil after a night of rain. At first, these traces appear scattered and do not cause too much concern. But when a bear begins returning to the same area repeatedly, the situation quickly changes. Bears have very strong memories. When they discover an easily accessible food source, they often return using the same route. An orchard, a livestock feed storage shed, or even a trash bin that is not tightly closed can become a regular stop. When this happens repeatedly, the animal gradually begins to treat areas near human homes as part of its foraging route. That is also when wildlife management teams usually begin to receive calls. After several days of observation, movement patterns gradually become clear. The bear often follows the same path from the forest to the garden, stopping at several familiar points before returning to the deeper forest. Once this route is identified, the management team begins deploying an appropriate trapping system. One common method is the use of large steel cage traps. These traps are designed with a strong steel frame and a drop door equipped with an automatic locking mechanism. Inside the trap, bait with strong scents such as ripe fruit, honey, or fermented grains is usually placed. These smells can travel far through the air and attract the attention of bears from a considerable distance. However, setting a trap is not as simple as placing bait and waiting. If the trap is placed in the wrong location, the bear may detect it and avoid the area altogether. For this reason, specialists usually position traps along the animal's natural travel routes, where it has passed many times before. The trap door is secured firmly to prevent shifting when the animal steps inside. In some situations, steel foothold traps are used as a temporary control method. This type of trap has a metal clamp ring with pressure carefully calculated to hold the animal's paw without causing serious injury. The trap is usually buried shallowly beneath a thin layer of soil on familiar trails, then covered with dry leaves and loose dirt so it blends into the surrounding environment. When the bear steps into the exact position, the spring mechanism activates and holds it in place. Specialists monitor the area using remote cameras to ensure they can respond quickly once the trap is triggered. In many cases, the management team will use safe tranquilization methods before carrying out the next steps, helping reduce stress for the animal. After the animal is safely controlled, specialists usually check its health and attach a tracking device if necessary. This allows them to better understand how bears move within the area and predict the possibility of them returning in the future. For many communities living near forests, these trapping systems and management procedures have become an important part of maintaining balance between humans and nature. They allow people to protect their farms and property while ensuring that wildlife is managed safely and responsibly. And each time autumn returns, when the forest begins to change color and natural food sources grow scarce, large footprints appear again on the damp soil. But thanks to the experience and management systems built over many years, communities at the forest's edge now understand much better how to handle such situations, calmly, scientifically, and with respect for the balance of nature.